So we here.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Bruh. Let me tell you something. I got some news the other day. It actually is kind of disheartening a bit. So, do you know who Austin St. John is?
I've never heard that name before.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, I'm pretty sure you probably heard of this one. He's Jason, aka the OG Red Ranger.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
And this man got arrested for fraud.
My goodness.
The PPP loans.
Gotta get them loans.
I'm like, bro, why you? Why you? You're the go. You're my favorite. I know people say that they love Tommy and Jason David Frank. No, I stick with Jason. He's kind of me. I mean, also, red is my favorite color, by the way. So, well, second favorite color behind black. Though if you don't consider black a color, considering it's the opposite color, then favorite color. But yeah, that was it hurt.
I mean, Red Rangers always get the battleizer, so.
Exactly, still goaded. So, but yeah, it kind of hurt. It hurt a bit. I was like, bro, why you? Oh, could have faced up to 20 years. 20 years.
Well, real.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, so for our Patreon listeners, this is the very first episode of Meeches presents Blerd City.
Hey.
So we here, yeah, coming together. You get the raw footages, as they say. So that was our quick catch up. Now we get into what's hot, what's cool.
Oh man, what is cool out here in these streets? Man, let me tell you, I'm super excited because next week is Kenobi. Next week is Kenobi. The first two episodes drop on Friday the 27th, and then after that, it's a week-to-week basis, and we're just gonna have a whole bunch of fun. I'd love to be able to hear him say hello there one more time.
Yeah, I'm so surprised they didn't drop it on.
See, I don't know why they didn't, but then again, they might not have been ready. Who knows?
Well, Moon Knight was still running. I guess you don't want to overlap.
Trust me, if you have Disney Plus, you gonna watch both regardless. I ain't gonna cap. I would. I totally would. But yeah, man. What else is new out here in these hot streets?
Next week, same release date. We got Top Gun.
Oh my goodness, I completely forgot about that.
So get ready. That's like the dad movie of the year. So
Well, I already know what my dad's gonna force me to do on that day after I finish Kenobi.
So yeah, that's gonna be fire. Anything else we get into? A24 drops on Friday,
Yep.
May 20th, which every A24 movie that I've ever seen hits me. Like I haven't been disappointed yet, so I'm excited for it.
Oh, yeah.
And then in the world of anime, we got Kaguya-sama, Love is War,
Yep.
third season, and then One Piece is going crazy right now from everything I've heard.
Oh yeah, One Piece is going absolutely insane. They paying their animators way too well. I need to figure out what their regimen is because I want to get paid that kind of check. And also, Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2 is going wild right
I'm
now.
here for it.
It is amazing and it's also funny too because I binged all of Season 2 in like one day.
That's how I started season one because I didn't know what it was, and then I was just in my grad school dorm chilling one day, and then I saw Rising of the Shield Hero
Yep.
had high ratings. First 7 episodes were out. First episode made me want to punch my TV screen. So
Bruh, you do not want to open up that Pandora's box with me because I still want to knock her teeth out to this day.
yeah, that's a Patreon exclusive. They don't get us up out of here if we do that live. So, but for the next segment, that was a quick catch up. Everything that's hot, what you need to know. For the next segment, we call it our Geek Out Freak Out. So this is just a section. Take however much time you need. Just go off on a particular subject about how much you love it, the joy from it, and just the different nerding out. So ideally, we want this to be video or audio calls from our listeners. But just to give an example of this, we'll start with movie that I watched since this movie. Let me pause. I can just record this time
Mhm.
because we're editing on the first try.
Yep, editing is our best friend.
So I can hear all of that. That's crazy.
That's why we doing this raw.
Yeah.
You get the entire behind the scenes footage.
Until we edit it. So, so yeah, just since we're going deeper into Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness, we're gonna start with My Geek Out Freak Out, Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is literally one of the best films I've seen of the past year. But
Oh.
in terms of multiverse movies, incredible. Like it hits every possible topic that you would like in a multiverse movie. Like just happiness, which we look at in Doctor Strange,
Yeah.
what your life would be like without certain people, what it would be like with them in your lives, just the love of different things. Oh my gosh, yeah, definitely gotta practice that there. Oh, dope. Yes, so learning, practice. But yeah, just different elements. Literally some of the greatest acting performances I've ever seen. Just the range of, particularly the dad and the husband in the movie, incredible. Um, Literally just the gambit of emotions. So
Oh man.
this is, yeah, I can't recommend it enough. So everything, everywhere, all at once. And then just in the future, I'll go crazy about it.
And isn't this the movie with Jamie Lee Curtis in it?
Yes.
To all my horror heads,
Yes.
let's just say, hey, Jamie Lee Curtis, Miss Laurie Strode herself. Let's get it.
And she had an incredible performance too. Like there was no wasted performance, which was like one of the best parts of the movie. Like sometimes you can just go into it and you're like, oh, this person made a cameo, but like they really just like developed a lot of people and like served a purpose and then dove into the multiverse of just like their different characters. So
Nice.
absolutely incredible.
Nice, nice, and that's actually going to be really incredible. It's amazing how we're in a stage of cinema where we're exploring such complicated topics. We're going to get into a lot more of that when we talk about Doctor Strange, but let's just say that a 10-year-old me would never have thought we'd even talk about such a topic such as this, especially in today's media. It's going to make me cry. Uh, but hey, subscribers, we're actually going to transition to our main point, our deep dive, this special time where we can talk about the main point of today's session, and that is Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Yes. So first ever movie review. By the time this is released, you should have seen the movie. But just as a warning, hear ye, hear ye. We are getting into spoilers for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. If you have not seen the movie, skip ahead, and that is your warning.
And if not, then you suffer the consequences. And that consequence is being spoiled.
Dope. Alright, so how we feeling? We've seen it at separate points. We haven't discussed it at all over the past weeks. So yeah, how you feeling about it?
Oh man, let's just say it. For me, I went into this movie almost nearly blind, right? Because there's just been like a whole bunch of like speculation as to like who the bad guy was, as to like what the story was gonna be about. I just knew for me going in, I was like, okay, it's Doctor Strange. We talk about the multiverse. My baby girl Elizabeth Olsen, Wanda Maximoff is in there, and it's directed by a goat. The goats, I tell you. Mr. Sam Raimi himself, Mr. Evil Dead himself, Mr. Spider-Man Tobey Maguire himself. Do I need to say more? That's what I went going in, was a level of hype over this topic, especially seeing how with No Way Home and just the masterpiece it was, and do not at me on this. It's one of the best pieces of cinema ever. And with that, like I was going into this one like really excited, really hopeful about this one and seeing the topic being explored more. to which I say they did a pretty good job with. Yeah, it's like there was times where I felt genuine stakes in there. The twist reveal as to who the main antagonist was hit me like a brick, and then but it all made sense. It didn't feel like there was just a bunch of Deus Ex Machinas apart from the apart from America Chavez, who is the Deus Ex Machina slash plot device of the whole movie. But that's neither here nor there. She actually did a fantastic job with that one. But yeah, what about you? How you feel about that one?
All right, so unlike you, like I wasn't spoiled other than just like the trailers. But I mean, those aren't really spoilers to me. But for me, I think I had a lot of expectations going into it that were super high. So once I saw the tease for Professor X coming back, I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. And then it's just like, okay, I think a lot of what, and we can get into later about managing expectations as fans, is a lot of what I was thinking was, okay, so they just introduced Professor X. We're introducing the X-Men, we're introducing the Fantastic Four, which we'll get into later, and this is how we merge it. And I think like that's what's been teased a lot, because we know to an extent what's happening, but at the same time, we don't know what's happening.
Absolutely nothing.
So as soon as we walk into the theater, you know, you see the opening, get you caught up. You're like, oh, okay, interdimensional being chasing Doctor Strange and America Chavez. Get 20 minutes into the film, okay, we're looking for Wanda. 5 minutes later, we don't even like tease it any further. Villain. I'm like, oh, that's what we doing. And I appreciated it, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I definitely wanted to get into like that point that you said about like managing expectations because I feel like at least when it comes to being a fan and like being like deep into the comics as I've been, I feel like in my case, like okay, I have like just a bunch of just knowledge about like a certain topic, and I kind of find myself to not be like one of those type of fans where it's like, oh, it's not exactly how it's done in the comics because, truth be told, some stuff can't be adapted in the comics the exact same way. Some stuff is just meant to be like read and written or like seen on the page, and it can't be translated well to live action. And sometimes it can just be better done as an animated film. We're looking at you, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. But
We're not going to talk about the delays, though.
we're not gonna talk about that at the current moment. But I feel like with that, like there's some people out there like you can just have the highest of expectations. I actually saw like this meme one time where it was like, okay, expectations for seeing like X movie, and then my expectations for seeing Doctor Strange, and it was like a picture of Doctor Strange. It had like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. It had all of the X-Men, including Hugh Jackman. It had all the Fantastic Four. I think they were like a bunch of fan castings. They had Iron Man, Tom Cruise in there. They had like Godzilla, Optimus Prime, the entire Star Wars cast was in there, and that just goes to show that like as funny as that was, it's like yeah, a lot of people are starting to go like completely sideways with what they want to see in a movie. I mean, sure, the Mighty Mouse owns all of it, but I don't think like it's good in the term to like just go neck deep into it, like just off of one go, because like remember, young children, Avengers wasn't just one movie that happened. It had a multitude of movies to lead up into it.
And there were definitely some stumbles out of the gate.
We don't talk about the three movies that I say were kind of lackluster. I'm I'm leaving it up to the audience to guess which three we're talking about. But yeah, it's like Rome wasn't built in a day. The Avengers wasn't built in a day. Avengers Endgame was not built in a day. It was built over a series of movies, and
essentially a decade.
yeah, a decade of movies. So my thing to the fans is hey, calm that down.
Yeah, I think a lot of kind of just with multiversal happenings, I guess that we got so excited about. Like one of the things about WandaVision, which was really good, but something that like a lot of the kind of turned the fans off is that from episode 2 or 3, we're going Mephisto, 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 and at no point did Marvel ever say we're going to give you Mephisto right now.
Nope.
And same thing, it went, okay, we introduced the other version of Quicksilver, and everybody lost their minds.
I sure did.
Now, how they actually like went about explaining that, I don't like.
No, that was trash. That was trash, Marvel. Get it together.
It wasn't great, but the whole just Mephisto thing, and then going into Spider-Man No Way Home again, Mephisto, because we kind of know what that storyline was playing off of, which is a storyline that we will not talk about on this one. But going into Spider-Man, we knew, or at least we highly suspected, we were going to see Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and if we didn't see that, we were going to be disappointed. But they kind of teased it, and then once you saw Doc Ock in the very first trailer, you're like, okay, this is what's happening,
yes,
even if they don't show it. But then we go into, again, Multiverse of Madness, because we know at some point, like, Fantastic Four is already teased. It's confirmed that it's going to happen. We just don't know how it's going to happen. But one of the cool things from Doctor Strange is that, okay, it's the multiverse, so seeing Mr. Fantastic there...
a version of Mr. Fantastic.
A version, exactly, means he might already be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We don't know that yet. Mm-hmm. So just patience is like something that we really need to hold on to. And then in Phase 4... knowing that we just got out of like a major arc where half the universe got erased, you can't immediately build back up to that in like the next episode. You kind of have to be patient with that.
Yeah, it's kind of like you went all out, so now we need fans to have like time to just calm down. We need to like just put ourselves back at square one and just build off of what we already have. Like, sure, we're gonna like build up to the next threat, King, but really, let's do it kind of like Phase 1, except let's hope like the Phase 1 movies are not of those quality, but you know which one I'm talking about. But yeah, so when it comes to that, let's have it to where it's like it's going to all be worth it when we finish it. Like let's say when we all went and watched Endgame, the culmination of like every single movie, you got references from almost every single movie in there, and it's like it has something in there from each movie that has every fan like just winking to that and pull the whole Leonardo DiCaprio meme. Like, wait, whoa. And you guys did not see that, but I actually did start pointing, so I let you know which meme it was. But yeah, so like, yeah, just take it a step at a time. Let's treat this as the new beginning of the MCU, or like the new phase of the MCU, if you will. This ain't phase. This ain't just Phase 4 anymore. This is Phase 1 2.0.
It's true. But that doesn't mean you can't be disappointed or want more.
So, that's very true.
Because for some of the newer shows coming up, I'm getting suspect feelings about that. So, but maybe they're just standalones, or I think what the toughest thing is that a lot of the shows, Marvel might be a victim of its own circumstance, where it's like a lot of the shows and movies tied into themselves. So when you were done with it, you automatically were expecting what's next. And for us not to like know what's next now, I think is what kind of we're going with the expectations, where by the time Doctor Strange ends, you're like, oh wait, we didn't get the X-Men? We didn't get immediately Fantastic Four? And that's not what it's about, but at the same time, you have to manage those expectations, like we said.
Yep. And plus, at the end of the day, this was a Doctor Strange movie.
Again.
This is a Doctor Strange movie. This ain't Doctor Strange in the X-Men. This ain't Doctor Strange and the Fantastic Four. No, this is Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So with that, like, it's mostly about him. And if we were to introduce like the Fantastic Four and the X-Men right out of the gate,
It's a mess.
what do you think the fans are all going to immediately be talking about? Just the X-Men or the Fantastic Four, and just completely write off Doctor Strange. And plus, if you know your track record of movies where you cram too much in there, Spider-Man 3, it does not end out so well, especially if it's like corporate or in this case, kind of like fan expectations and fan outcry to add something in when it really shouldn't. It should be built up towards Spider-Man 3. Sorry, I'm sorry for getting into a tirade, but you kind of realize you all know my favorite character is Venom. So with that, I still have many issues with Spider-Man 3. Sorry for getting off into that tangent.
Rants of the week upcoming. But yeah, I think going from there, we can really get into like what's our fascination with the multiverse. So for the recap of Doctor Strange, first we start off with Stranger Strange and this random girl who we don't know at first, running from an octopus monster. And eventually there's this book, the MacGuffin, as they say, to end all, be all, save the world. They don't get it. So Defender Strange gets killed. We find out that this girl, America Chavez, is a multiverse hopper. So she hops into our Earth 616, as they say, and we then see our Doctor Strange at the wedding for
Christine.
yeah.
Oh man, that one was heartbreaking. But yeah, so like from that point, we see like Doctor Strange. He's at this wedding for a woman that he loves so much, and unfortunately can't have. So it's basically like with him, he's calling into question like, "Hey, am I really happy right now?" Especially when he's trying to, basically put up a good face of being happy in front of her. No, that's just to be a social, cool dude. And then you see a giant tentacle monster that just straight up attacks the city. And it's not because it's just randomly attacking. No, this girl, America Chavez, is right in the thick of it. And she's getting hunted down. So Doctor Strange ends up coming in and semi-saving her along with the Sorcerer Supreme Wong, a real one.
Mochi.
And they both manage to take out this monster in gruesome Sam Raimi fashion, in love with it. And then they find out who America Chavez is and like what her whole deal with in the multiverse and coming across the dead body of Defender Strange, which if that was me, I'd be freaked out. But
Yeah, so immediately we find out, okay, she's being chased across the multiverse for some reason. For some reason, this strange being is chasing her. So we find out that, oh, it's not just magic, it's witchcraft. What's the only witch we know so far? One of two witches, Scarlet Witch. So Doctor Strange goes out to meet Wanda. She was just living the happy life in the middle of Iowa, farming and doing culinary work. Well, it's not culinary work. I can edit that later. But we see her seemingly sad and disappointed about her kids, but overall a happy life. So Doctor Strange asks for help. She's like, okay, cool. So how about you just bring America here? He immediately goes, I never told you her name. Dun dun dun. We reveal the true world, and she has an item called the Darkhold. And it's not just Wanda we're looking at, it's the actual Scarlet Witch. And she is on demon time in this movie.
oh Lord, okay, so the main reason for that is because of the fact that the Darkhold is a corruptive tome of magic, and we learn more about like where it's from through and like its creation by this demon named Cthon, which I'm super hyped to get into because he is really on demon timing in the comics. And also has a Cthulhu-like appearance at one point in a Carnage comic, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, so Wanda corrupted by or should I say Scarlet Witch, because that ain't Wanda no more. She is now on the warpath. Basically gives Strange an ultimatum. Do you? It's either you give her over to me, or I'm going to destroy all of you sorcerers. Every last one of you are going to die. So that was the ultimatum he was given, and Doctor Strange responded kindly with, "Yes, I'll see you on the battlefield." So, so yeah, they managed to pull up a defensive forces. They tried their hardest, but Scarlet Witch just dang.
Yeah, so everyone got bodied, essentially, except for our main heroes. So we see America Chavez and Dr. Strange. They manage to escape. Wong, our boy, gets taken hostage, essentially, after getting knocked out. And then we do a quick multiverse hopping, which is a really cool scene where we see them flying between different multiverses. The only thing about this movie, in terms of multiverses, we're actually only in two multiverses, if we're being real.
Yeah.
But once they hit to their final destination, they get there and then they find out that Doctor Strange is dead when they look for his help. But then we find out that let's find the next Sorcerer Supreme, which is
Baron Mordo.
Yes.
And Baron Mordo, if you don't remember, he was the black guy in the first Doctor Strange movie who kind of went off the rails at the end, proclaiming all sorcerers must die. And he's been Steven's like mortal enemy in the background, like off screen, been trying to kill him for the most of the time. But he managed to, in this one, he kind of seems to be a nice guy. Really chill, really cool. He managed to like let them know about the Book of Ashanti, aka the MacGuffin of the end all be all book, and then he, unfortunately, he reveals his true colors, and because apparently one betrayal wasn't enough in this movie, there had to be two. So, unfortunately, he knocks both Chavez and Strange out with some poison and sends them to prison, basically. And then at the same time with Wanda, or should I say Scarlet Witch? I'm sorry to say this, but Scarlet Witch is something else. So she she basically interrogates Wong and basically forces him to take her to the mountains of Wundagore.
After one of his disciples destroys the Darkhold.
Ah, yes, completely forgot about that. So as he said, the one of the disciples ended up destroying the Darkhold book that Wanda has, and her still being full of corruption and her being full of anger and hate because of the fact that, hey, she can't get it to her kids anymore. She basically forces them to tell her, like, hey, how can I get my kids back? And one basically said, like, hey, that one was a cheap copy, and the real Darkhold is located in the mountains of Wundagore. So all my comic book fans, you guys were freaking out at this part because Mount Wundagore is intrinsically tied to the X-Men. And intrinsically tied to the X-Men, to Magneto, to everybody, and especially to Cthon. So Wanda basically forces Wanda to take her there, where a bunch of monsters, some demons decide to pull up. And by pull up, I mean completely be fully subservient to Scarlet Witch, as she now has the full power of the Darkhold, and she decides to do this thing called dream walking.
And from there, dream walking allows her to go into the current universe that our Doctor Strange and America Chavez is in to possess that Wanda. So that Wanda also has two kids. We can talk about why Vision isn't there. I don't know why at all during the movie, but she has the two kids, so she gets to see her two kids, but then she's also like, I need America in order to actually achieve my goal and not this cheap copy. So she goes back into demon time, but this is after we find out that who's actually in charge of this universe is the Illuminati, comprising of Professor X, different version of Captain Marvel. Also, we see Captain
America or Captain Carter.
That's what it is, Captain Carter. And then also Black Bolt, which is like, if you're an Inhuman fan, you almost freaked out. Mortar,
The three of you.
Mortar, and then the final reveal, which almost like made the theater explode, is we see Reed Richards, played by John Krasinski, Mr. Fantastic, confirmed for the first time in the MCU.
Yes, the perfect fan casting if you that became true. But with that council, they basically were talking to Strange about like, hey, we're sufficiently capable of taking down Wanda, and in fact, she's actually not the danger to the multiverse. Strange is. Because of the fact that in their universe, Doctor Strange was also part of the Illuminati, and in order to defeat Thanos, he ended up using the Darkhold to gain the power and the ability to stop him. Unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, the Darkhold is corruptive. So let's just say it corrupted Strange enough to cause an incursion, to which all my comic fans were also freaking out again because the incursions is what led to Secret Wars, and the incursions are where two universes basically collide into one another, and either one or both of those universes get destroyed. So the Illuminati, after defeating Thanos, realized that their Strange is the only one left, and he's a danger to everything. So they decide to clap my boy and clap him in the most terrifying way possible, using your boy Black Bolt. And to say that I would have rather get killed by Wanda is an understatement. Though, considering what Wanda does next, kind of says a lot.
So the entire Illuminati proceeds to get bodied. So literally, Captain Marvel gets smashed. Mr. Fantastic gets turned into confetti. Black Bolt blows his own brains out because he doesn't have a mouth anymore. Thank you, Wanda. Captain Carter gets cut in half by her own shield, and Professor X snaps his neck after she possesses him. So from there, we can see Sam Raimi getting back in his horror bag, and Wanda chases Christine, this universe's Christine, America Chavez, and our Doctor Strange through the sewers, which is an actually terrifying scene, almost as much as the scene where she kills all the sorcerers. But they get through, they find the Book of Ashanti, which immediately gets destroyed. It has no purpose in the movie, if you ask me, other than a plot tool. And then she captures them, captures America, sends Doctor Strange and that Christine into a universe that has been destroyed by an incursion, most likely. And we get to see the darker Doctor Strange.
And once again, I assume you guys were probably going to freak out because we all thought that was Strange Supreme from What If. No, this is actually another Doctor Strange who also got the Darkhold and was also corrupted by it. And he basically was all alone because of the fact that, as Meeches mentioned, the incursions destroyed everything. So it was literally just him as the only singular alive being, and just a bunch of like destroyed buildings and the Sanctum Sanctorum. So Strange end up having a pretty awesome fight.
Amazing fight.
An also amazing fight using musical notes as magical attacks, to which Sam Raimi, you would go for that one because ain't no way I ever could say that you can use music to fight people.
Yo, I thought we was in Demon Slayer for a minute.
we were for like 30 seconds. But yes, our Strange ends up winning by throwing the other Strange out a window, and he gets Sam Raimi impaled on the fence. And this is where true demon timing starts happening.
Yes. So now that Wanda has the actual America, she takes her back to the Earth 616 and proceeds to start the ritual where she'll take her multiverse hopping powers from her, which we see get teased in the beginning of the movie. From there, Doctor Strange, he is like, okay, I have to actually get back into my universe. But there's no other Strange, or so we think. There's a dead Doctor Strange, Defender Strange that we saw in the beginning. He then proceeds to, I would say dreamwalk, but more like zombie hopping, and takes over the dead body of Defender Strange. From there, he goes to the mountain, and but before he gets there, we see the souls of the damned try to drag him to hell, essentially, because what he's doing is beyond illegal and black magic. So,
And yeah, so our girl Christine, or alternate Christine, had to, use her wits, use her ingenuity to fight off all these demons that are trying to get to Strange in that universe, and also trying to kill Strange in the main universe. But she manages to do it and managed to basically keep Strange not only alive, but also keep him from being corrupted by the Darkhold with the also powerful the power of love.
of course.
The standard anime power, along with the power of friendship. Uh, but yeah, so like Strange managed to get full control of not only the soul, but also his dead body.
Which is actually a pretty cool scene.
Oh yeah, so we actually get a zombie Doctor Strange that is not zombie Doctor Strange, but he goes in and he starts actually fighting Scarlet Witch, and while he does get his whole behind whooped, at least it gave America Chavez the courage and also the strength to use her powers, like her multiverse hopping powers, as like physical attributes, as a physical fight.
And from there, she proceeds. One of the more touching moments of the movie, actually, she punches Wanda into the previous universe, and Wanda gets to see her kids. But from here, she's completely corrupted by the Darkhold. And so her kids see her, and they're like, oh, a witch. They're absolutely terrified of her. And the entire movie, we see her, all she wants are her kids. And just to see the terror from that kind of helps her to realize that, oh, what have I become if I'm just going to become this monster that even my kids can't love? And so our actual Wanda, so the Wanda from the other universe tells her, just know that they'll be loved. And then from there, she comes back, she decides to sacrifice herself and gets rid of the
What's the Mountain of Wandagore?
Mount of Wandacor. And from there, that's kind of essentially where the movie ends. We just find that America Chavez is now trained to be a sorcerer as well.
Yep, and that's where our movie ends, or so you think, because while Strange is able to, seemingly have a normal life once again, unfortunately, because of the fact he used the Darkhold and he used it for a minute, he actually has a side effect of it, which is opening of the third eye, which is something the sinister Doctor Strange also had. So he's actually like awakened, and in comic strand, opening the third eye makes you actually stronger. So time only tells what that'll do, and then you get your post-credit scene, in which we actually end up introducing Clea, played by Charlize Theron. And in case you guys don't know, Clea is the wife of Doctor Strange, which makes you go, ah. So I guess we answered that question, the main question of the movie, pretty solidly. So yeah, so like Clea basically comes at Strange saying like, hey, you need to come with me because an incursion's about to happen, and he goes with her. And that sets us up for the next movie, which is whatever. I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen next.
do you think our fascination with the multiverse is?
Honestly, I think it's like really, it's a really great thing because it's kind of like it's a question of like how do you step forward, at least in terms of like Marvel movies, because you already did like a cosmic threat in the form of Thanos. Like, where do you go next from that? You can't kind of go back to like ground level from there. I mean, that would be kind of backwards if you're not doing it right. But I think that the multiverse is like really a great topic because I think a lot of people are like wondering, like they always wondered, including myself, like what would happen if this had gone different? And like people always like have those thoughts in their minds, of like, hey, if this were to happen differently, or like, hey, what if this person stayed in my life? If this person had left sooner, or stuff like that, what would have happened this time? And I think like it's really an introspective type of deal, and also a pretty another interesting deal where like, hey, what would like another version of me be like if this had happened? Like, I know I've like had this conversation numerous times for like myself, like, man, if another version of me came out of a portal and he had X abilities, what would I think or what would I do? So yeah, I think like that's part of the deal with like multiverse is just like a step forward for like where to go in terms of like escalation for Marvel as well as personal introspection.
Yeah, I think for me, what I really sometimes you just get again, like we were saying, introspective about your own life. You're like, hey, if one thing changes in my life, this domino effect of different events doesn't happen. And I think for a lot of us, that's why it's so cool to see, besides just from the, oh, we can geek out perspective of, oh, we get to see this version of a character, we get to see that version of a character. But it's just like, man, what would my life look like if this changed? What would, again, like you were saying, this version of myself be like? Would I be good? Would I be evil? Would I be rich? Would I be poor? Like, what does my friend group look like? Or different jobs? And I think just it kind of goes with the main question of the movie is, are you happy? And based on that, we can imagine many different lives from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that was just a great question to ask in a multiverse based movie of like, are you happy? Because I'm sure like a lot of people can say like, hey, I'm pretty happy like with my life or like with like where my life has been. And then there's some people who maybe less so. They may be less satisfied, less happy with where they're at. And they're maybe like at a point where they can't do anything about it, which is actually kind of disheartening. But I think like having that question kind of be at the forefront of our main character's life, as at the fore of Strange's mind, while he's going on a multiverse of adventure where he sees like certain like key members of his life be happy, such as Christine, and then also seeing like another version of Christine who's basically not as happy uh, because of because of just because of her strange and just and yeah, just different ideas on like happiness and just how that is a forefront in many people's lives. That's a question we all want to say yes to, but unfortunately not many can. That's a question I always gotta ask myself a lot. Is like, am I happy? I'll say, yeah, for the most part. Some things I can do better, absolutely. But I wouldn't say like I'm unhappy with it.
Yeah, for me, I can say that like I am generally happy. I mean, just the state of the world. There's so much stuff. Like if I just view my life, I'm like, yo, I'm good. Like at the end of the day, like nothing to like really just be devastated about. But I do think like in some aspects of my life, I feel unsatisfied. Where I thought I was closer to the completion of some things than I actually am. Kind of like running a marathon, and it's like, oh, I think I'm at mile 20, and I can just view the ending 6 miles away in my own head. But in reality, it's like, oh, I'm at the 6 mile mark. And it's like, you still have 20 miles to go. And I'm already huffing and puffing. And I'm thinking, like, yo, I put in the work for this. I'm running hard, and it's like, oh, I can already feel the fatigue of not being where I want to be. But at the end of the day, like I said, I just think I'm good, but still trying and striving to just like get better. So
Yep.
yeah. So it kind of going with happiness and multiverse. Would you leave your life given the chance?
Whoo! Oh man, it all depends, right? Because it's like, hey, if I find myself that I can end up in a life where I'm rich and I am doing like really great things while maintaining like the same social like type of life I've been, like of course I would. But like, but of course there are many different caveats to that. As I said, if you had asked me like maybe like a couple of years ago, would I leave my life? Of course, I would say yes. Get me out of here. State of this world right now is too much, and I need to leave. But fortunately, no, you can't do that. As far as I can tell, if any viewer figures out how to kind of hop multiverses or time travel, let your boy know. Thank me, and I'll make sure to shout you out later. But yeah, if I had a chance to leave my life, then yeah, I would. I would.
I
Yeah.
think I think 100% I would get isekai. Like go to a different world and then have some show called How I Got Transported to a Different World in a Different Time or
Oh
something
boy.
like that. But as long as it wasn't like a truck-kun isekai and more of
See,
a teleportation isekai, I'd be good.
see, see if if I got isekai, you better isekai me to an anime world that isn't feel that isn't A like this one and B going to go into complete and total chaos.
Yeah, 100% we get isekai to like a second world.
I please don't, Lord, please don't, because I don't want to end up there. That's the last place I want to go.
Yes. But yeah. But going from there, really excited. We're going to get into awards, but before we get into our awards, do you want to shout out our sponsor for the day?
Yes. So our sponsor for today is the one and only. Is the one and only. And our sponsor today is from the one and only Clintar, the great alien planet that is willing to give you a symbiote of your choice. You can only procure one if you are pure part. Otherwise, you may be out here causing problems for the whole universe. So, if you are willing to become a host of your best friend for life, then you should go ahead and absolutely procure yourself a symbiote from the Clintar. Ain't that right, B?
Thing for that. And like I said, we're going into our awards. And with our first award, we are going with the biggest idiot. And oh my goodness, entire Illuminati rise and come to the stage because you are getting the biggest idiots award. Because Wanda absolutely bodied every last one of them. And this is supposed to be the smartest people in the universe. Excuse me, Mr. Fantastic. How about we not explain Black Bolt's only contributing factor to the main villain? Yes, 100% biggest idiots, entire Illuminati.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And to actually go off that, then our next award is the spotlight is yours. Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch, come down and accept your award. Baby girl, baby girl, you now here did a whole lot of demon timing. So much so we can't ignore it. As Mitch said, you bodied the entire Illuminati. Sure they have an idiot handicap, but hey, you were not afraid to give everybody the equal hands. And every moment you're in, you make me want to just go and find the dark hole myself. I need the power. Thank you. So yes, Wanda, you body every scene you're in. You're horrifying in every scene you're in. Don't and just stay you, girl. Just stay you. Get your award.
Nice. For our next award, Wong, please rise and come to the stage because I need a hero. Wong does not get enough screen time in any movie that he is in. We gotta find a way to get this man, Sorcerer Supreme, his own Disney Plus show because Wong absolutely steals every scene he's in. He is funny, he's a great fighter, and he plays off of every character really well. And he kind of displays the proper, from a, we can edit this, that's from my own personal, but he plays this a really great role of like a guiding force in Strange's life, but then is also a mentor role to America Chavez, and then the different role that he even played in Shang-Chi. So, Wong, please come get this award.
Thank you. And coming up right behind you, Wong, is your protege, Stephen Strange. Come up for your Drop the Weights award. Because you rock lead the entire world when you use that dark hold to take over your alternate self's dead body. How do you even think of that? Like, bruh, there ain't no way I would have ever thought to possess my own body in order to try to get the dub. But you did, for your ingenuity and for coming out on top. You in the most dangerous way fashion, but also in one of the most awesome ways possible. Come get your award, sir.
For the next and final award, we have the jump out of your seat moment. This goes to John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. Seeing just Mr. Fantastic on the screen in general was just, it lit up my soul with joy. And a lot of that's when the crowd started going crazy. And also just seeing like a fan kind of driven push to see someone as a role was really cool to see. Now, will we see him as Mr. Fantastic moving forward? We don't know, unconfirmed. But it's just a great moment, and it shows that people really love the Fantastic Four. This is, at some point, the third attempt, and ensemble movies are very hard to do, but I believe that if they get introduced correctly, the Fantastic Four are going to take off and help lead into Phase 5 and the next stages of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, with the awards handed out, we go into our final tier rankings. So, what would you rank this movie?
I'd give this one an I. I'll definitely watch this again. Would I pay money to go see it again? Probably not, but I'll definitely watch it.
Yes. So, in the same tier, I is our B tier of movies. I definitely enjoyed it. If I'm watching it with friends, I'll probably watch it again. I might not go out of my way necessarily to watch it, but it is a good movie. Good job, everyone. Sam Raimi, goated. So just transitioning from there, we're going to go into a segment that I'm super excited about. But Meech is going to share the Black Air Force segment.
All right. Oh man, I am so ready. I'm so hyped for this one. As you guys understand, and you guys have probably seen videos on these, this is our Black Air Force segment, where we take a chance to analyze the most demon timing of characters. Characters who really are a tier above others, straight menaces to society, who would wear Black Air Forces out onto the streets daily, and would even clap their mama, their child, everybody can get it. And for today, since we're talking about multiverse, we're going to talk about an alternate version of one of my favorite characters of Spider-Man. Today we're talking about the superior Spider-Man.
Ooh.
How do I take this?
Ooh.
Oh boy. This man's on demon timing. If you know about Dr. Octopus, especially from Spider-Man 2, then hold a candle to what this man did in the comics. And what he did in order to become the superior Spider-Man, that's Black Air Force in and of itself. Like, this man was fighting superpower beings for so long that his body decided to shut down on itself and start dying. So in order to keep himself alive, he decided to pull some Black Air Force moves. He pulled out his feelers and decided to swap bodies with Peter Parker. This man. And then killed him. And then he decided to become a better version of you. How demon timing do you gotta be to kill your op, then become your op, then say, you know what? I'm gonna be a better version of the op to prove to all these peons that I'm the superior op. That's what this man did. And this is all coming from Amazing Spider-Man 697 through 700, but going into Superior Spider-Man 1 through 31, this man committed the most heinous of acts. Firstly, did you know that he punched the Scorpion's jaw off just to prove his strength? This man is such a demon that he did not even feel bad about it. He was just like, oh, I was that strong. Parker's been this strong this whole time. Well, I'm about to use it, baby. And then he caught bodies. He caught Vulture lacking and beat the brakes off of him for employing children. Bruh, he tried his hardest to woo MJ, but because he couldn't, he decided to do some super heinous acts. He decided to probe the memories, probe Parker's memories of the good times he had with MJ, and he had fun. I'm just leave it at that. But that's demon timing right there. But all the bodies he caught, like Massacre, a serial killer, shot him right in the face from completely murdering the Spider Slayer, and then gloated that he was Otto Octavius because he was just like, oh nah, I gotta let you know before you die that I am a real one. He brainwashed his entire Sinister Six into working for him. How much of a demon you gotta be to brainwash your former friends into working for you? Not to mention all the times he clapped Wolverine, he clapped Daredevil, he clapped the Avengers twice. So the second time he was with Venom, but that's a whole other version of demon timing right there. I expect that episode to come out soon. But as Peter, but he committed so much heinous acts when he was Spider-Man. But when he was Peter Parker, he was also on demon timing. He straight up said, you know what? I'm gonna get you your degree, Parker. I'm gonna start up a company for you, Parker. And then I'm gonna take all the employees from your former employer, all of them, and make them work for me. I am the GOAT. I am a real one. I am a demon, and this man is arrogance personified. He gives Escanor a run for his money. And if you know how prideful Escanor is, you know he's a demon. He gives Vegeta a run for his money in terms of pride. Saiyan pride? No, this is octopus pride. Is demonhood. And the fact that as Spider-Man he got the approval of J. Jonah Jameson. This is before he knew his identity. This is before everything. And he did what Peter could not. What more do I have to say? This man's a certified Black Air Force. Give him his Black Air Forces.
Hand him over.
You just hand him over because it's either you give him to him or we gonna take him. Here you go, Otto Octavius. In the body of Peter Parker. Wear them well.
Yes. Superior Spider-Man is literally one of my favorite versions of Spider-Man, and it's a great story. So that is a great first Black Air Force so transitioning from there, we'll just go to our recommendations. So since we're in the multiverse, I'll stick with multiverse for my recommendations. Going with what I said from the Geek Out section. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Definitely check that out. And sticking with just Marvel superheroes in general, Spider-Man No Way Home, one of the best multiversal movies, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the closest I've ever felt to being on drugs. So we'll roll with that.
Yes. And then on the comics end, if you want to learn more about multiverse in general, there is Marvel's 2015 Secret Wars, which is just all about the multiverse. There's also, if you're interested in people like Miles Morales and multiverse and stuff, you can check out Ultimate Spider-Man. It starts off with Peter Parker, but it it transitions into Miles later on, but it's a great alternate universe ride, as well as going into reading about Marvel's Illuminati, as well as oh yes, Jonathan Hickman's not X-Men run, though that is an excellent run. Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four run, which sets up everything that would happen in Secret Wars, and if I'm perfectly honest, should be what the MCU's Fantastic Four should be based on. Fingers crossed.
And going from there, we'll just get into our plugs. My Twitter handle at the Mad Dash, the MADASH 16. And for Instagram, Meeches _ dash. Any plugs for you?
And yes, so my Twitter handle is at Absolute Venom, ABSOLUTEVENOM, as well as my Instagram handle is Meech, MEECH _the_legend.
And just a reminder, this is our first ever recording, our practice run for the Patreon run. You'll probably hear our actual recordings on Spotify, Apple, YouTube. So before coming here, so you'll also have access to just what our actual podcast handles are as well. But next, we're going to leave you with some words of encouragement. Got anything?
Yes. My words of encouragement to each of you all today is when you're going about your daily life and you're wondering whether or not I'm happy, think about all the good you've done and think about all the good that you can do.
And just leave it there for there. So we're about to sign off, but just remember, it's not goodbye forever, just goodbye for now. And that's the Blerd City Podcast.
Catch you later.